Hey, what's up? In today's video, I want to share with you 4 things that will help you choose the right preschool/daycare for your toddler. That's next. Stay tuned. Welcome to Midlife Mama. I'm Tiffany, and on this channel, I hope you will find hope, inspiration, encouragement, and some practical tips on mommyhood and self-care after 40. If you're new here, consider subscribing, joining the YouTube family, and coming along for the ride. If you're already a subscriber, thank you so much for being here, for rocking and rolling with the channel, and welcome back. In today's video, I want to share with you 4 things that will help you choose the right daycare/preschool for your toddler. So I wanted to get this video about the preschool and the search for the preschool out while I had this fresh in my mind, because I'm fresh off a search for a new childcare, daycare, preschool situation for my daughter. And I wanted to get this video out while all of this information is still at the forefront of my mind. All right, so I have notes here on the iPad, so I'll be looking at my iPad periodically, just so you know. I don't want to miss anything. I want to give you guys all the information. If you're searching for a nanny, I have also done a video on how to hire a nanny, and I'll link that below and also let it fly across the screen if you're looking for a nanny situation. But this video covers how to find or how to search for a preschool/daycare for your toddler. In particular, your toddler who is just about preschool age or just ahead of it. So let's just get into the video. So before I embarked on this search, I had Nevaeh. Nevaeh had a nanny, and her nanny left to go and take her dream job as a seamstress on the Strip, and so I had to find a new daycare situation for Nevaeh. The only thing that was missing with Nevaeh and her nanny was that Nevaeh wasn't around other kids. So I put her in a daycare where she could be around other kids. I thought this lady would be perfect. She's 24-hour daycare, she's open on the weekends, watching other kids, and I found out about this lady from one of the moms in my mom group. She took her son there. And so I put Nevaeh in. She could watch her on the weekends, which meant, you know, I didn't have to make any real drastic changes to my work schedule. And it seemed to work out perfectly. There was a few things that I was not 100% happy with, like not keeping Nevaeh on her schedule or the quality of snacks that she was feeding Nevaeh. But I figured she's there, you know, 2 or maybe 3 days out of the week, and she eats nutritious food the other 4 or 5 days out of the week. So I thought, you know, not that big of a deal. But then Nevaeh being off her schedule was turning into a hassle for me. So it was getting to the point where I was going to need to find a new situation for Nevaeh anyway. So, but then something happened, and I don't want to go into the whole story. Just something happened. Nevaeh was not injured. She was not hurt. Nothing was wrong with Nevaeh. Nothing physically terrible happened to Nevaeh. It was the idea that something could have happened that gave me pause and made me accelerate my removing Nevaeh and putting her in a different situation. So that's all I want to say about that. For the sake of the length of this video, just know that I no longer trusted that Nevaeh was in a good situation there, so I had to remove her. So I embarked on a search. So my first piece of advice before I get into the 4 things is that if you have your child in a daycare and you are not 100% happy about everything, speak up. Make it known that you're unhappy about certain situations. There may be a way for you to correct it before something bigger happens. So my advice in that sense is to just speak up. Say what's bothering you, and you have to be the voice for your child, because if it's bothering you, then it might be bothering your child. So just speak up if you're not 100% happy about certain things. So the first thing I want to talk to you guys about is to decide what is most important to you in a daycare. And for me, there were three things that were at the forefront of me choosing Nevaeh. These three things had to be in place before I even considered going to look at the school. And that was a curriculum with certified teachers, safety measures, and a nutritious meal plan. I wanted those three things to be in place before I even decided to go and look at the school. So you want to make sure that you know what is the most important thing for you in a daycare situation or a preschool situation for your kids. So for Nevaeh, this is essentially a preschool situation. So I wanted her to be, I'm saying situation a lot. I wanted her to be in a learning environment that was missing from her previous daycare. I wanted her to be in a place where she could practice some of the stuff that she already knows, that she's been taught at home, and where she could learn some new things. I also wanted her to be around other kids so she could be socialized and start to learn sharing and empathy for other kids and learning how to be around other kids. So basically this is a practice run for preschool. So from here on out, she's school is the thing. She'll be going to school and she'll be around other kids. So I wanted to make sure that she was in a good, comfortable environment for her to start to learn those things and have those experiences. So decide what's the most important to you, and then that's when you can go on to the next step, which is to start to do your research. There are a few places you can go to find schools. You can drive around your neighborhood and look at what the preschools are in your area that are close by, that are on your route to and from work, or you can talk to your mom friends and find out where they're taking their kids, or you can go through a mom group. If you're in a mom group, you can ask the moms in your mom group. You can go on Yelp, or you can find preschools that are accredited. If accreditation is important to you, like it was to me, you can go on the National Association for the Education of Young Kids. I think that's NAEYC, Young Children. NAEYC. They have a website where you can search for accredited daycares and preschools for your child. So if accreditation is important to you, then you can go on that website. I'll leave that website linked down below. You can check that website in your area and see if you can find preschools in your area that have that accreditation. So that was important to me, so I went on that website. And on that website and through my mom group, I was able to locate my top choices. Before I even scheduled or decided I was going to go on a tour of the school, I did do my research online. So I read reviews online. I went to all of the websites and looked up the curriculum. They will list the curriculum that they're using on their website. If they don't, maybe that should give you pause. I don't know. If I found a school that did not list the curriculum they were using or the type of learning activities they're doing with the kids on their website, then I really just sort of skipped over that school and went on to the next one. So they should list the curriculum. You can take that curriculum and then research the curriculum yourself online and find out what people are saying about it, how it's rated, things like that. You can go on Yelp and search on Yelp and see what people say. If you like what you see online, then you can move on to the next step. And the next step would be for you to schedule a tour. But my tip here is because they'll all give you a link where you can express interest in the school and schedule a tour. My tip here is to not schedule it. Don't schedule the tour, just go show up. And the best times to show up to tour a school are before 12:30 or after 2:30, because between 12:30 and 2:30 is usually when the kids are napping. You won't be able to see the classroom up and running. You won't be able to see what they're doing during the course of a day. I mean, a nap time is nap time. If you want to go during nap time to see how they put the kids to school, how they put the kids to sleep and things like that, I mean, you're fine. That's fine if you want to do that. But I preferred to go and see when the class was up and running. And I did make the mistake and I showed up around nap time. And so I wasn't able to see sort of what the class looked like when all of the kids were up and about. So I had to go back to that school to see what that classroom look like? Anyway, so the best time to go is before 12:30 or after 2:30. You want to observe how you're being greeted and whether or not your unexpected visit is welcome. When you get your tour, you want to look for things like the teachers, if they're engaged, if they're sitting down with the students, if they're at eye level with the kids. You want to see if the kids are happy. You want to check the ratio of kids to teachers. Here in Vegas, I think the norm is 9 kids to 1 teacher, but the accreditation website has a different ratio. So I looked for that ratio when I was searching for a school for Nevaeh, because I wanted the accreditation ratio as opposed to the norm for daycares here in Las Vegas, because the ratio is a little bit lower on that website. So look for the ratio of kids to teachers. And you also want to check for the obvious things. Is it clean? Is it inviting? Is it organized? You want to get an idea of what kind of day your child is actually going to have. So if they offer a discovery day, definitely you want to take advantage of that, so your child can spend the day there and you can see sort of what kind of day your child's going to have while they're there. So discovery days are great. It's a great way to get like a trial run and see if your child's going to enjoy themselves, if they're going to get what they need from the school. The last step is to make your choice. Weigh out the pros and cons. My tip here is to create yourself a visual comparison chart if you need a visual. Write down all the schools, write down what your top 3 things are and what your secondary choices are, and the things that you liked about each school, the things they all had in common. Write that down, write down all the schools, and just do like a little check to see how they compare. I did this with my 3 schools and it eliminated 1 school right away. So out of the 2 schools that were left, I was able to use things like proximity and cost and the experience Nevaeh had when she did the discovery day to make my final decision. So the school that I chose ticked all the boxes, but it's also in a perfect location for me to go to work, drop her off, go to work, come home, pick her up, and not have to make anywhere too far out of my way. It's right there on the route to work, and it's in a perfect location, and it was well within my budget, and it ticked all of the boxes. I forgot to mention this. The one thing you want to look for is there a way to monitor your child throughout the day? So all of the schools except for 1 that I looked at had this monitoring system where I can get notices about how Nevaeh's day is going. And only 1 school didn't have that, so it helped me eliminate that school. So check for that. If that's important to you, you want to make sure that there's a way for you to monitor your kid throughout the day. If they don't have that, how do they feel about phone calls for you to check on your child, especially in that first couple of weeks? You want to see how they feel about you calling the school to find out how your child is doing. Not necessarily speaking to your child, but you want to make sure that you can call in and ask the teacher how your child is doing. Okay, so I gotta say that childcare is the single largest thing that I have struggled with as a working mom. It is so hard to find good, trustworthy childcare that doesn't make you stressed out when you're at work. Once I lost my nanny, I was struggling. I was struggling because, like I said, the child daycare that I had her in, I didn't think Nevaeh was in any danger and that she wasn't being taken care of. There were things that didn't sit well with me, and I couldn't really focus at work because I was always trying to rush out of work so I could get to Nevaeh to get her. And I don't feel that way with her at this school. I feel like she's in a good environment. She's going to learn how to play with the kids, and I feel like this is a good place, and I'm not upset or discomforted by anything right now. It's a good feeling. So fingers crossed, God willing, this is the right place for Nevaeh and I don't have to move her again. And I hope this video helps you find that particular situation for you if you're searching for daycare and preschool for your child. So, final thoughts: be diligent in your research before you even go and see the school. Be observant. Look for everything that I mentioned. Look for cleanliness. Look for engaged teachers. Look for a monitoring system so you can monitor your child throughout the day. Look for organization. Look for happy kids. It's always a good sign when the teachers and the staff know the kids by name and they say hello to the kids by name and they say goodbye to the kids by name. Always a good sign. So keep an eye out for that. Observe the small things and speak up if something doesn't sit well with you. Ask all of the questions that you have until you feel comfortable. Do not be afraid to ask questions. Do not be afraid to address things. And hopefully you find the perfect school for your little one. And with that, on that note, I'm going to end this video. That's it for this video, you guys. Thank you for watching. I hope it was helpful. Give this video a big thumbs up if it was helpful. Share it with someone you think it might help. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't done that already. Join the family, come along for the ride. Hit the notification bell so you get notified whenever I post a new video. Catch up with me on Facebook, Snapchat, Instagram, and Twitter for day-to-day stuff. And I will see you in the next video. Thank you for watching. Bye.